Today on compute or not, we're gonna compute. We're gonna make something. It's gonna compute
Or not.
or not.
So, remember when? I don't. It was like 7 years ago. We were here, long time ago. And then we were here again, less long ago, but still long ago. About mid-2016, I built this with Jalen in this same exact spot. I was right here, except, you know, the Earth moves, so it's not like I was like right here, but position on planet Earth, I was here. 7 years later, it's time for an upgrade. Well, he already upgraded it, but it's time for another upgrade. When this was originally built, God, there's a lot of backlash. Because I used an i3-6100. It was when Skylake just came out. RX 480 just came out for about $200. It wasn't like super available. The R9 380 was also about that price, and that's what he got. So he got a 4 gig R9 380 with an i3-6100, and you know what? I don't care. It's a pretty good entry-level build. He added an SSD, because originally he only had a 1 terabyte hard drive. So he added a 250 gig Western Digital Blue SSD. He upgraded to an i5-7500 and a GTX 1060 6 gig. And that was the last upgrade until, well, actually recently, a 4 terabyte hard drive was added. So now we're going mostly all different. And I think this one's gonna be a little prettier, even though it's gonna be a little more weird. You had a CPU cooler on here. I guess I took it and gave it to someone because I don't have it. Here's the SSD. It's all dusty. That's actually terrible. I wonder if you can get that. Almost everything is being swapped out or replaced. The things that are being kept, power supply, hard drives, and that's it. This computer kind of sucks. Oh, I also added in a little card reader thingy, but that'll be going with this case. And there was gonna be some Dragon Balls, but we only found 3 of them.
This old thing got me from point A to point B with about 16 miles in the gallon. You know, it's not good, but it did pretty good. I played some games. I was able to crank out Elden Ring on this thing, which is crazy. It was just it was pushing it quite a bit.
On the Elden Ring note, this is very quick. Remember Kid's first gaming PC with an i5-6400 and a GTX 660? Yeah, that can play Elden Ring somehow. It's way below minimum spec, but that Kid's first gaming PC, that guy, that same person with the same computer, plays Elden Ring somehow.
But yeah, time for an upgrade, because this thing, it looks like it could give you cancer, and I don't want cancer. Yeah, I had to evacuate all the mice that lived in here. They took me to court. It was pretty rough. Oh, nice and clean. It doesn't turn on yet, which I don't know why. Why is that, Cameron? No, but I'm excited to use this floppy thing. I'm excited to have this as the new case, because, I mean, you can just do anything with it.
You can hold your nuts in this.
I got plans.
So I guess we can go through the case as well right now. It's a Thermaltake S200TG ARGB, so that does answer my question. These 3 included 120mm fans in the front are addressable RGB. He ended up going with a used card, as per my recommendation, and that was a bad choice, which I will explain shortly. It's an RX 6600, 8 gigs of GDDR6, 220 millimeters long. There's a little dip switch that turns the LEDs on or off. I'd rather this be a dual BIOS. Oh, there is a dual BIOS. BIOS, OC or silent. Cool. And I will touch on the PCI Express 4.0 by 8 shortly, because that is the main drawback of a card like this, especially if you're using it to upgrade an old system. Here's the old guy. We gotta take him apart. It's a little dusty as well. It's been a while since this has been touched by human hand. Pulling out the power supply, and she is a little dusty too, so we'll give her a quick little clean down. The SSD, and then if I'm lucky, it'll all just come out. I guess I will take out the graphics card just to look at, but There's not too much to look at. It's a small card and it's nothing special either. But this is one of, I would say, a more favorite version of mine of a 1060. I love small graphics cards. She is a little dusty, but carbon fiber. It's not actual carbon fiber, I promise you that. The Aria ITX 6 gig OC only takes a single 6-pin. I'll be in possession of this card. Thick layer of dust there. That's all we're taking from here. Whoa, what the frick is this? Oh, it's I guess for holding in the hard drives. I used to have this power supply before he's had it, and I never cleaned it out. This has about 10 years of gunk in here. I got this in 2014, I think. Late 2013, early 2014. There might be a date on it. And there might be a screw in here too. Yeah, there was a screw in there. It's burnt. So gross. It's everywhere. That's both of our skin cells. There's so much.
Oh. Blow it hard. Oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sensitive. Stop. I have allergies. Oh no.
It's still coming out. There's so much. Oh God. I'm defeated. I've never been so low on oxygen. Let's talk about the new hardware. So we've talked briefly about the old hardware. We had an i5 7500, 4-core, 4-thread, you know, 3.5-ish gigahertz, whatever, doesn't matter, they're all roughly the same. And then 16 gigs of 2400, I believe, Kingston HyperX. It was a Gigabyte H110MA. This is a bit higher end, and some of you may immediately be able to tell what this is, and if not, I'll remind you. Under here is an i7-5960X. When it came out, it was absolutely nuts. I had a few wet dreams, admittedly, about this chip. 8 cores, 16 thread, I might have already said that. Base clock is only 3 gigahertz, but we can easily push it to 4.2, and with a better cooler, then we can probably push it a lot further as long as temperatures are in check. So this board is an Asus, what is it, X99A? Oh yeah, because we can upgrade this processor to a Broadwell chip. So we can get 10 cores in here if we wanted. For RAM, we have 32 gigs, 3000 MHz CL15 Corsair DDR4. And I went with 32 gigs just because, well, he already had 16. It had to be an upgrade of some kind. 120 mil, this is an H75 by Corsair, something like that. But there's a bit of a caveat with going with such an old platform like this. This is a downgrade versus the i5 7500 because that's a 7th gen chip. This is a 4th gen chip. That's a few years different. But Broadwell wasn't that much better and it was pretty much non-existent on the mainstream. So we are losing some clock for clock benefit. So this will stock, especially since it starts at 3 gigahertz, will be slower than the other processor. But since we're able to overclock this one to say 4.2 or even higher, it should outpace single core the i5 7500, and then it has twice the core count and 4 times the threads to work with. So that should overall be a boost in performance. Here we have a PowerColor Hellhound RX 6600 XT. This was gotten used on eBay for, I don't know, roughly $150 around there. They can be found for a little cheaper, and as time goes, it will get cheaper. But there's a problem with fitting a new graphics card, say something after the RX 500 series or RX Vega and the RTX 20 series. So after those product lines, we have moved to PCI Express 4.0. So the problem with using a newer card, that is PCI Express 4.0, on a Gen 3 processor or motherboard, and again, the PCI Express revision that will be used will be the lowest common denominator. So even if you have a board and graphics card that supports PCIe 4.0, if your CPU doesn't, you're running at 3.0 speeds. And that's not usually, or shouldn't be an issue. It should only be an issue about a few percent of difference. PCI Express 4.0 has a maximum bandwidth of double that of PCIe 3.0. And the problem arises when you put a 4.0 card in a 3.0 slot, you will half the bandwidth. But that's okay because, I mean, 3.0, it's not like we were saturating 16x 3.0. It's just that the real issue is that this card is only 8x to begin with. So it's PCIe 4.0 8x. So what that does is it makes it 3.0 8x, a quarter of the bandwidth, essentially. Not that this was even utilizing the full 16 lanes anyway. We'll have to just see what the performance is like, because I don't even know if it'll be a noticeable problem. It'll definitely be an upgrade over the 1060, but will there be other problems that we can't notice? Like maybe micro stutters, stuff like that. I don't know, we'll have to see. But just keep that in mind when you're looking at getting a used card or a newer card for an older platform, especially these mid-range cards. I believe everything after the 6650 XT from AMD in the 6000 series has a PCIe 4.0 X16 rather than the X8. And if you go to the lowest end, say the 6500 or maybe it's the 6400, it's only X4. So you have to use a new board and processor. Otherwise, you're losing out on performance. I mean, we're doing that anyway, but hopefully it's just a few percent. I think I've talked enough about on this issue. And I don't want to hear it in the comments. Got it? I found a Samsung 970 EVO. Not the 970 EVO Plus, but it's a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. I got for like 40 or 50 bucks, and you can find a new one, a 970 EVO Plus, new for about 50 bucks these days, which is pretty nice. So let's get with building the new computer. There's not a lot to build really, because half of it's already together. The fun part's already been done for us. You're welcome, I did that earlier. Starting with the I/O shield, hopefully we can catch this on all or both of the cameras. Usually this is never an issue. I've never had a problem installing an I/O shield before. It's not canon, I definitely had problems with this before. Ow, my dad works for Microsoft! No. Oh my god, wait, what?
Listen!
I'm blooding.
No.
I think this will get you demonetized.
Hey!
Got some tweezers. That's a little reference there.
Watch
There's not
out.
a lot of room here for these cables. Even with the drives placed further away, if they were closer, this power supply could not fit. How is that an option? I don't know how they expected that to be a working solution in any configuration. Maybe if you had a shorter power supply or a smaller power supply, or your Band-Aid would stay on. Either of those options, that'd be nice. Smartest guy I know, Walt.
You're a gnome, Walt.
You look like a garden gnome, Walt.
Walt, you're so smart. Figure this out.
Get us out of this, Walt.
He guns point right at his head. No way.
You're the smartest man I know, Walt. Get us out of here. What do I do?
Tell me what to do.
You have to kill him. If you let Hank live, he'll talk. No, Walt, I won't talk, Walt.
Try dodging the bullet. It's the only way.
Dodge the bullet, Hank. It's the only way.
I could just shoot another bullet.
He's like point blank, too. He's just laying on the ground. He's like 2 feet away from him with a gun.
Hank dodges the bullet and kills all of them.
And kills Walt.
I can't believe that's how it really happened.
I can't believe we just spoiled it for everyone. Yeah, this is going to be an issue because they're so close to the front. There's also like not a lot of room for cables here. What I mean, most cases don't give you very much. I would like a case to just give me like 2 inches right here, just so I can just throw cables back here and not even worry about it. Oh, push her in. Yeah, it should be good. There you go. Okay, and then screw both of those screws back in.
Ooh. A bunch of crackheads trying to build a refrigerator.
Oh, a lot of airflow. I feel a lot of air coming through. Oh, wow. Yeah, max turbo is 4.75 gigahertz. Okay, yeah, we're fine.
Eating lots of chicken, sitting in the kitchen.
With his PC upgraded, Jalen can play modern games once again. But will we ever see him again? And will Cam ever admit he only builds friends' PCs so he has somewhere to store his excess parts collection? Find out all this and more on the next episode of YogertPC.